Hey there! Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're doing something a little different, so if you enjoy this type of content at any point, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so we can do more of it. And when I say subscribe, I mean subscribe, because such a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to my channel, so, just subscribe, eh? Anyways, today I'm going to be telling you guys how I almost died in real life. So back in the day, I was probably around 13 years old. I performed on a live show called The Polar Express. Now, many people out there have probably heard of that before, because it was an animated film. Well, like many other animated films, it was recreated on a real train and with real actors. And, well, I was one of them. The Polar Express takes place at Christmas, so this was during the month of December in Canada. I played this blonde kid named Billy, and he's this little kid who lives in a shack on the side of the train tracks in the film. So the team created a little wood hut that looked pretty real on the outside, but in reality it was just an empty shack with old spider webs and holes in the floor that I just had to wait in until the train came so I could do my little act in front of the train and then hop on for the rest of it so I could totally not drink hot chocolate for free in the kitchen. I would never do such a thing. So I had to sit in this freezing cold shack, because this was Canada. I mean, the temperature in the winter could drop below negative 30 degrees Celsius. Negative 30 degrees. Anyways, and I had to wear this bathrobe. That's what this child decided to wear to run out in the snow to a random train. So that's cool. Anyways, I would have to sit in this shack with no heating or power. But the worst part is that this shack was far away from the station, so I was driven there by a crew member. I was then dropped off by this shack to practically survive like a homeless kid for like 8 minutes, all alone. From time to time, the train would be delayed, a couple minutes by passengers having issues boarding or people with special needs who needed more time to get on, which is completely understandable. But of course, there are some technical issues which can also occur. Several times, the train stopped working. That's kind of what happens when you run a train during winter in Canada when the temperature drops below negative 30 degrees Celsius. Sometimes the train could be delayed for several hours in the middle of a performance. So it was the job of the actors to make it all seem like part of the ride for the kids and keep the adults entertained. But poor old Billy over here still had to sit in his shack. And this was one of those unfortunate events where the train stopped working. From a passenger and literally any other actor's point of view, it was a good thing that the train stopped working while it was still at the station. But from good old Billy's point of view, this wasn't so great. And since I wasn't able to have my phone on me because, well, obvious reasons, and the house didn't have any power and definitely not a phone, I had no way of knowing what the hell was going on. So as you can probably imagine, I was stuck sitting around in this shack for more than 8 minutes. So I knew something was wrong, and all I had was this stupid robe. I walked around this house, which was probably only like 5 meters by 5 meters on the inside, so there really wasn't much room to move in order to stay warm. But I did with what I had. It was snowing outside because, well, winter in Canada, am I right? And technically, I could walk to the station from where I was, but there was a massive forest in between me and the station. I mean, I was seriously in the middle of nowhere. And I was 13 years old. I mean, I was a child. I wasn't brave enough to go out into the wilderness, and it would take a while for me to find my way to the station regardless, and that's if I ended up walking in the right direction. And then there was the idea that if I left, the train would arrive and I wouldn't be there. So I was stuck. 30 minutes had probably passed when I thought that something had went terribly wrong and they had just forgotten about me. And normally this was the point I would cry, but it was too cold to cry, and I was even more scared the tears would freeze and I would have ice stuck to my face. And so that's when I thought I was going to die. A lone Billy just trying to make $20 an hour. Around 45 minutes into waiting for the train, I heard a whistle. A train whistle. And I'll be honest, I thought it was in my head, because I had been talking to myself for like the last 20 minutes, and then the tiny 5x5 room I was in lit up, and I stood up to see the train emerging from behind the trees, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't relieved to see it. The train came and stopped in front of my makeshift house, and I did my part. Then hopped on, and the other actors hugged me and told me to get a cup of hot chocolate in the kitchen car. And after that, the show had to go on. And that's how I almost died in real life. And by the way, I performed in the Polar Express for another 2 years after that. So don't think that the crew did terrible and I was mistreated. No. I made a second family there, and it was one of the best experiences in my life. In fact, it was my first job, and if I hadn't moved across the world, I would still be working there. I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, hit the like button on this video and subscribe.